The stars flickered against the dark backdrop of the universe, each one a distant beacon of light. The shadow cruiser glided silently through the void, its hull a sleek black that seemed to drink in the surrounding starlight. It was an enigma even among the other vessels of humanity's burgeoning fleet, a ship designed for missions that demanded absolute precision and secrecy. Few knew of its existence. Even fewer had ever seen it. Captain Mara Voss stood on the command deck, her sharp eyes scanning the vast emptiness displayed on the view screen. Her crew operated in near silence, their movements efficient and deliberate. They were a team forged through countless dangerous missions, each member selected for their expertise. Trust was their greatest weapon. Mara crossed her arms, her leather jacket creaking softly. She was a hardened leader, a woman who had survived skirmishes with alien races and rival human factions alike. Her reputation was legend among the fleet. The crew of the Shadow Cruiser was fiercely loyal to her. They knew she would lead them through fire if necessary. The mission was clear. An experimental alien weapon had been detected in the hands of a rogue faction operating on the fringes of human space. It was unclear how they had obtained it, but if the weapon fell into the wrong hands, the consequences could be catastrophic. The Shadow Cruiser was tasked with retrieving or destroying it. Failure was not an option. The ship's sensors picked up the faint signature of the rogue faction's base, a small asteroid in the middle of a debris field. Mara gave a sharp nod to her pilot, a wiry man named Kellen, whose skill with navigation was unmatched. The cruiser slipped into the debris field like a predator stalking its prey. The automated defenses of the base lit up, red beams of light scanning the surrounding space. But the cruiser's stealth systems rendered it invisible to the prying sensors. Mara turned to her tactical officer, a muscular woman named Sierra who had once served as a Marine. Her combat instincts were unmatched. "Prepare the boarding team." Mara's voice carried authority. Sierra nodded and left the bridge, her footsteps echoing briefly before fading into silence. The boarding team was handpicked for this mission, a mix of engineers, hackers, and soldiers. They would infiltrate the base, locate the weapon, and either retrieve it or plant explosives to ensure its destruction. The cruiser docked with the asteroid base, its airlock aligning perfectly with an external hatch. Mara joined the boarding team. She always led from the front, her sidearm strapped to her thigh, her sharp mind analyzing every possibility. The hatch hissed open, the boarding team moved swiftly, their weapons raised. The interior of the base was dimly lit, shadows pooling in every corner. The atmosphere was tense, the team's breaths audible through their comms. An alarm blared. The rogues had detected the breach. Mara's hand shot up, a silent signal to split into two groups. One would head to the command center to disable the defenses. The other would secure the weapon. She took the latter group herself. They advanced through the narrow corridors, the sound of their boots muffled against the metallic floor. Ahead lay a large chamber. A pulsating blue light emanated from within. Mara signaled for caution. They entered slowly, their weapons trained on every possible threat. In the center of the chamber was the weapon, a crystalline structure glowing with an eerie energy. It floated above a pedestal, suspended by some unknown force. Mara felt a chill run down her spine. This was no ordinary technology. It was alien in design, its purpose a mystery. A group of rogue soldiers stormed into the chamber, weapons blazing. The firefight was brief but intense. Mara and her team's training and superior tactics proved decisive. The rogues lay defeated, their bodies sprawled across the floor. Mara approached the weapon cautiously. Her engineer, a lanky man named Jax, scanned it with a handheld device. "It's some kind of energy conduit." Jax's voice was tinged with awe. "But the readings are unstable. It could be a bomb or a power source." Mara's mind raced. The mission was to retrieve or destroy the weapon, but taking it aboard the Shadow Cruiser posed significant risks. She made a decision. They would set charges and destroy it. The risk of allowing it to fall into enemy hands was too great. As Jax planted the explosives, the team's comms crackled. The other group reported heavy resistance. The rogues were better equipped than intelligence had suggested. Mara knew time was running out. She ordered her team to retreat. The charges were set, a timer ticking down. The journey back to the cruiser was fraught with danger. The rogues had mobilized. Mara's team fought their way through ambushes and barricades, each step a battle for survival. By the time they reached the airlock, they were battered but alive. The cruiser's medical team stood ready, treating injuries as the ship detached from the asteroid base. The explosion was silent in the vacuum of space, but the flash of light was blinding. The asteroid base was obliterated, the weapon reduced to dust. Mara watched from the bridge, her expression unreadable. The mission was a success, but questions lingered. Where had the rogues obtained the alien technology? And were there more weapons like it hidden among the stars? As the shadow cruiser slipped back into the void, Mara knew their work was far from over. The universe was vast, its dangers innumerable. But humanity had never been one to shy away from a challenge. The shadow cruiser would continue its silent vigil, protecting humanity from threats known and unknown. Mara turned to her crew, her voice steady. "Well done. Let's bring her home." The shadow cruiser vanished into the black, a ghost in the endless night, its mission far from finished. The crew expected some time to recuperate, but fate had other plans. Just days after their return to base, a distress signal reached the fleet. It was faint and garbled. The only decipherable detail was that it came from deep within uncharted space. Mara was summoned to a high-level briefing. The Admiralty believed the signal might be connected to the alien technology they had just encountered. Once again, the shadow cruiser was called upon. This time the mission would take them farther than they had ever gone, beyond the edge of known space. Mara briefed her crew, her voice calm but determined. This could be the most dangerous mission yet. But every one of them knew the stakes. They prepared the cruiser for the long journey, stocking supplies and ensuring all systems were at peak efficiency. The journey was long, the void darker and colder than any of them had imagined. Days turned to weeks, the crew's resolve tested by the endless silence. Finally, they reached the source of the signal. It was a derelict ship, larger than anything humanity had ever constructed, its design completely alien. The cruiser approached cautiously, scanning for signs of life or danger. The derelict's hull was scarred and broken, as if it had survived a great battle. But it was not completely lifeless. Strange energy signatures pulsed weakly from within. Mara ordered a small team to board the vessel. She would lead them as always. The airlock connected, and they entered the alien ship. Inside, the air was thick and heavy. The walls seemed to pulse faintly, as if the ship itself were alive. The team moved cautiously, their weapons ready. They found signs of the ship's former inhabitants, skeletons of alien beings unlike anything in the known galaxy. The team documented everything, but the energy readings drew them deeper. In the heart of the ship they found something extraordinary. A massive chamber containing a sphere of energy similar to the weapon they had destroyed. But this one was intact, its glow pulsating steadily. Mara felt the same chill as before. This was no ordinary artifact. It was powerful, perhaps even sentient. As they approached the sphere, the ship began to react. Lights flickered on, panels hummed with energy. The team's equipment faltered. Mara ordered Jax to analyze the sphere. But before he could begin, the sphere pulsed brightly. A wave of energy swept through the chamber, and everything went dark. When Mara opened her eyes, she was no longer aboard the alien ship. She stood in an endless expanse of light. A voice spoke, not in words but directly into her mind. It explained that the sphere was a relic of an ancient civilization, a race that had once ruled the stars. They had created the spheres to guard their knowledge and technology. But their time had passed, and now they sought a new guardian. Mara realized the voice was testing her, evaluating humanity. It showed her visions of the future, of what humanity could achieve if they embraced the knowledge within the spheres. But it also showed the dangers, the potential for destruction. Mara's mind raced. She knew the responsibility would be immense. But humanity could not afford to ignore this opportunity. When the light faded, Mara found herself back on the alien ship. The sphere's glow was dimmer, as if it had transferred something to her. The team's equipment was restored, and they made their way back to the cruiser. The derelict ship began to collapse, its mission complete. As the shadow cruiser left the scene, Mara felt a newfound resolve. They had been chosen as guardians of something far greater than themselves. The path ahead would be perilous, but